What's up, guys? Poxtops here with Weekend Warriors. Here we are, Xcom 2. Let's get right back into the war. So, I guess one of the first things we'll do is we'll go ahead and build our first building. I'm going to go with the reconnaissance ring. Or resistance ring, Jesus Christ. There's going to be a lot of story cutscenes in this one, so just a little bit of a heads up. And we'll start with the science one now.
Impressive, isn't it? Capable of generating immense power, yet completely harmless to human life. If only the same could be said for the rest of the aliens' technology. Commander. Dr. Richard Tigan, Chief Science Officer. I am responsible for the entirety of our research here, as well as the procedure you so recently underwent. Welcome to my lab, such as it is. I'm not sure what Central may have told you, but we found something while removing you from the alien stasis suit. A device implanted directly in your occipital lobe. Had I access to the equipment available to me during my tenure at Advent, I would already know the precise nature of its function. However, given time and your approval, of course, Commander, I assure you, I will find out. Which brings to light an additional point. Though aspects of this facility are indeed impressive, I am but one man. Were you to direct additional support personnel and resources to me, I could substantially improve the speed of all our research. Farewell, Commander.
And well, that takes care of that. Let's go ahead and decide on what research we're going to do. So I get a little bit of indecisive here. It's very tempting to rush weapons. I end up going with alien biotech. It's going to unlock the infirmary for us, and that'll be helpful if we start accumulating a lot of injuries. It'll reduce the recovery time, which is incredibly helpful. So with that, let's go ahead and grab the engineering cutscene, if I can just figure out which way to go.
Okay, reworked your repulsors with some of the parts I salvaged from their old engine. Should fix that stabilization problem you had. Come on, Rover. It'll work. Commander! Getting our tech to talk to theirs is harder than you'd think. Lily Shen, Chief Engineer, at your service. You were probably expecting to see my father. In all that's happened, I'm guessing Central didn't tell you yet. He's gone. Dad gave everything he had to get us this far. This entire ship is his life's work. I know he would have loved to show you around the place himself. He used to talk about you a lot. You can be sure I'm ready to finish what he started. Might not look it, but from here, I can fabricate pretty much anything you come up with. And with a little more help, well, you'd be amazed with what I can do. It was an honor to finally meet you, Commander.
And last but not least, well, let's go ahead and build the flashbangs first. Those are really, really important for a specific enemy. So,
As far as I can tell,
just have to remember to equip them. Let's go ahead and get the cutscene with the command bridge out of the way. If Shin will ever shut up.
the existing alien tech used during the invasion. Luckily, the
Come
more
on
common
now.
this stuff becomes,
Be quiet.
the easier it'll be for us.
Commander, good to see you on your feet again. Welcome to the bridge, the nerve center of our operation. The aliens have our entire world in their grip. Advent controls everything. Government, communications, industry. Not to mention the military. And it's on us to take it all back. Resources and time are tight, Commander. It'll be up to you to decide how to best use both. The ship is yours.
Alright, with that, let's go on the overworld map. Looking back on this section now, I probably, instead of going after the road block or whatever one that we ended up doing. I probably should have just stayed at Reaper HQ and gained intel for the 5 days. Road traffic is what it's called. But the random assortment of items was very tempting. And like I said, hindsight, looking back on it, I probably should have just stayed there and gained intel instead. But, it is what it is. I mean, we ended up getting something out of it, so it wasn't completely useless. And since we completed that, here's another cutscene.
So much of my own research based upon this simple design. If only I had known. Ah, Commander, excellent timing. There's been some progress. I've managed to break down several key components of the chip implanted into your skull. My analysis reveals that its primary function was that of a conduit, passing a vast amount of data directly to your cerebral cortex. With the primary connection severed, much of that data is lost. Several fragments do remain, however, ghosts, if you will. Observe. Tactical combat simulations, war games. The sheer volume of encounters you were processing was astounding. It is truly remarkable that you survived as long as you did. Though this may seem disconcerting, there is still some good news. This chip bears a striking resemblance to a medical implant I briefly assisted in developing at the gene therapy clinic in New Providence. My understanding was that the implants were intended for high-ranking Advent officers only, captains or above. Retrieving a chip from such an officer would be the only way to know for certain. A greater understanding of these implants would undoubtedly benefit us all, Commander.
Alright, with that out of the way, should unlock us, yeah. Well, it brings up the next story research, but thanks to that we got the infirmary unlocked, which, like I mentioned, will help us greatly. So the next research that I'm going to do is modular weapons.
I will send word as soon as we have something of note.
And from here, we'll go back to the world map and finish up the road traffic, which net us a hair trigger. Not really worth it in the grand scheme of things. However, that is. So we'll go down here and scan for the engineer. And basically all this is just us passing time until a mission pops, in which we get one. Operation Demon Slayer. And we get an engineer out of it, which is great. So we can end up with 2 engineers pretty quickly. That's pretty good. So we'll go ahead and go on this one. And for this, I want to go ahead and get Panda and Callie and get them some XP. I'm going to leave Lightmare in the group and go ahead and take Lightmare and Pox stops. It's pretty important for the Grenadiers to keep getting XP. They end up becoming pretty stable units throughout the game. And keep the Reapers specifically for scouting purposes, like the utility it brings. And unfortunately I forgot to equip the flashbang. So
Sky Ranger deployed.
oh goodness.
We're in the pipe. 5x5. Sky Ranger recall confirmed.
So let's go back and equip that flashbang. I had a feeling that when I bought the flashbang that I would end up forgetting to equip it, which is exactly what I had done. So choice comes down on who to equip it on. What sucks is right now we only have 4 grenades coming in, plus my claymore. So we'll go ahead and put it on Callie. Hopefully I won't regret this decision to not have that extra grenade instead of the flashbang. But like I said, it's really important to counter a certain enemy types that use sonics, which is provides things like mind control and disorienting your soldiers. And flashbang will, if they use mind control, you can flashbang them and it prevents the ability, cancels the ability. You can also flashbang them and just prevent them from using any of the abilities prior to them attempting to use. So, it's very helpful.
We've been given a prime opportunity to disrupt
So it's going to be Pox
operations
Tops,
and delay their
Lotmare,
current plans.
Panda, and
One of their field
Mr. Callie
commanders has decided to tour the actual
on this one.
field. We're going to make sure he never leaves
I
that
went
spot.
ahead and
Once you
originally
hit the ground,
considered
find our
fast
target
forwarding
and
through
eliminate him as quickly as possible.
the slow turns, but I went ahead and left this one completely in. There's a couple things that we can talk about as I'm going through this that is sort of important. First off, don't do what I did and not move your stealth soldiers first. Instead, I decided to run Panda in there. Luckily, he didn't face pull anything, so it worked out. Another reason why I didn't fast forward through this is because actually we get into action pretty quickly. Immediately, there's a pod of 2 troopers. I'm going to go ahead and move Pox Ops a little further up to try to get more sight available to see what else is around. And then instantly I want to move people into positions to open up on this pod. So I want to look for full cover as much as possible, or ways that I can get a good angle on enemies. So I went ahead and moved Lotmare and Callie over to that other doorway. Panda should actually be okay with where he's at, and I risked moving where I did. I risked actually getting discovered. I have a tendency to still trying to figure out the tile range for the vision that the concealment gives. So I had Panda just throw the grenade, get the double kill, grab his XP. Boom, there it is. So that takes care of that first pod pretty quick. Pretty painless to be all towed. I go ahead and scout a little further with Pox. Mobility on Reapers is really high, so perfect scouting units. A lot of people say they lose their effectiveness later on, but honestly there's not. I think it's super beneficial to a squad to have a scout, whether that be a ranger or a reaper.
We're picking up an inbound advent
So they get the
transport.
evac zone for the
general from the
general
AO.
placed.
Don't let 'em get on
So now
board
here
that
comes
ship.
the turn timers. So I have 12 turns to take this dude out, otherwise I fail the mission.
Rolling out.
So now let's push up a little faster so we can find this guy. So we go ahead and take the high ground with Fox, that way I can get a little bit better field of view on what's going on behind this wall. Just kind of slow walking it, you know, trying to keep the people, trying to keep my soldiers from going further ahead than Pox, while also keeping them relatively grouped. It can sometimes be a really bad idea to keep them too clustered. Some enemies can actually throw grenades at you. So we pretty much immediately find the second pod, which is sectoid. I think it's a sectoid is what they're called, and a trooper. And then there's another pod off to the right. So I immediately was like, okay, so we want to take the one out on the left. It's the closer of the 2 pods. So I'm just trying to figure out the best angle to get the Reaper in at. And also you kind of want to try to go for full cover if you can. So I decided to post up at the doorway. I figured that would be the best option. Well, I end up posting up at the doorway. I go ahead and move Pox forward first. Get more sight on those guys. I considered using Claymore in this instance, but it was not going to reach, so it's kind of pointless. It's a good thing too, actually, with the way that this plays out. It's a good thing that I didn't use it there. So I go ahead and move Callie to the far side. It sucks he's not in full cover, but generally the height advantage from the aim penalty that the AI grabs is worth it. And see, I also didn't realize that moving him up there was going to activate that pod, and so it is what it is. I kind of screw up my target priority here. I totally should have focused the trooper first, and instead I went after the sectoid, which was a mistake. It was a misplay. I'm pretty sure I'm naming that alien correctly. Could be wrong. I could be totally effing that up. So go ahead and lob a grenade at him with Lightmare. I should have aimed that at the trooper and killed him, but I mean, it was a total misplay on my part. Kelly takes the shot, and was not enough to kill him. It's 4 damage. Panda, unfortunately, was out of position to really move and do an action, so I decided to move him into the full coverage across from Callie. And here's where things sort of kind of go badly. So the sectoid tries to mind control Lightmare. Luckily it didn't go through. It was just a disorient. But then this trooper. I'm so sorry, Callie. I'm so sorry. Oh goodness. So it's at this point, it's like this turn I can definitely wipe the pod out. So I decided to go ahead and move the Reaper around to get a flank shot on the sectoid. It took me a minute to find a good spot to take it from, so I ended up just going around the pillar and getting behind it there. It's a 91% chance to hit. Xcom has a tendency to be mean, and even at 90% you can miss. So I kind of got lucky still and got the hit. However, my reveal roll went really bad, so ended up being knocked out of stealth at that point. And pretty sure I take the shot with Callie here, the 70%, and he ends up getting revenge for getting shot in the first place. So good on you, Callie. Good on you. At this point, I decided to overwatch, and luckily the other pod, just kind of walked right into us, and that worked out quite well actually. Panda gets his overwatch shot off, deals 3, and then Lightmare gets the last 6 damage on the sectoid and kills him. So, I mean, we got 1 kill out of it. It's unfortunate we couldn't have got 2, but I mean, we only had half of the squad on Overwatch. With shots, they were able to land pretty well. So, I mean, all in all, it played out pretty well. And there's the general, the whole reason we're here in the first place. So he's basically a reskinned officer, and I think because of him being a quote-unquote general, he's actually able to use grenades sooner than officers do. So I go ahead with Lightmare and it's like, okay, let's remove his cover. And unfortunately, he is actually standing behind indestructible cover. So this wasn't necessarily a waste of grenade. It gets a pretty good amount of damage on him. It sucks that I didn't realize that it was indestructible cover until after I'd fired it. I decided to hold off and use Claymore now, And here's a good example of what I was talking about. Like if I hadn't have moved in the previous episode, I could have fired at the Claymore instantly. I was trying to decide on whether or not I want to use Claymore if I wanted to risk the 52% chance shot from Callie or the 52% chance from Panda. I ended up going with the Claymore. And actually I lied, I don't end up shooting it. I end up using someone else to shoot it. So just like, screw it, I'll just use Claymore and kill him. Get him out of the way. All that leaves is the Trooper, and even though I used the Claymore, I still got a shot with the Reaper. So it's not terrible that the Trooper is still there. I know for a fact the Reaper can one-shot the Trooper. So I decided to take the shot on the Claymore with Panda, is what I ended up deciding to do. I was looking to see if there's an accuracy chance on the Claymore, and it doesn't look like there was. So I guess it's guaranteed to hit. Not sure, but he nails it. Kills the general. That's the objective complete. The only thing left to do is to get rid of that last Trooper. So I had a shot with Callie, which I was trying to see if I could get a better angle on him first, but it doesn't look like I can. Obviously the Reaper can't move. It's a 69% chance for me, so I go with Callie and I take the 70, and unfortunately Callie misses. It's okay though, that's fine. We still got Lightmare, Panda, and me. So I go ahead and take the shot with the Reaper and got him. And that ends the mission. So it wasn't flawless. It was unfortunate that Callie got hit. I guess the aim penalty from high ground wasn't enough to protect Callie. In his typical fashion, his horrible luck, and actually me being bad at commanding him apparently, played very well against him in that instance. So can't complain too much though. It's not like he didn't get one-shotted, which could have been very possible. So we did set a new record for average enemies defeated per turn. We got a one enemy per turn, and our average coverage rating was 33%. It isn't great, but I mean, we were in cover a lot of the time, so can't complain too much. Callie wouldn't have missed, our accuracy rating would have been 100%, but 83 is still really good. So let's take a look and see what promotions we ended up with here. Panda became a specialist, which is nice. I mean, I feel like I kind of threw a little bit of shade at him in the last episode, but actually I really like specialist, and having 2 of them is generally a really good idea. 4 is amazing actually. So you have a rotation. So Callie got sharpshooter. So that means it's him and Leo will be my back line with squad sight. So that'll work out pretty well. And also, I was able to form a bond between Lightmare and Pox. So I went ahead and did that. It's teamwork. It's a pretty neat ability. Works out really well. As long as one of them doesn't get taken out while they're on a mission, we should be fine. I decided to check the other bonds. A couple of them are pretty close to coming through, but there's another cutscene. So
hello, Commander. The council you once knew is no more. Its membership have all sworn loyalty to the Advent administration, with one exception. It is good to see you again. In the days since your capture, I have done all I can to aid the Resistance from the inside. It was these Resistance operatives that provided the intel leading to your recent extraction. As of now, Resistance forces are currently somewhat disorganized. If we are to defeat Advent and their alien masters, You must change this before it is too late. What you are seeing are classified reports of missing civilians from across the world. Their numbers are growing. We suspect they have been taken to a nearby Advent black site, though its exact location remains unknown. Time is short, Commander. We need you to take charge of Resistance operations throughout the world. Establish contact with the local cells and bring them into the fold. Find this black site and shut it down. Save our world. The clock is ticking. Good luck, Commander.
So it sucks that we only made it to episode 2 and already have wounds, but we're okay. So I guess with that ends this episode, guys. I'll finish it off by getting this rubble started to being cleared out now that we have an engineer, and guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Take care.